Hey everyone. Welcome to Drippy Verse. This is Drippy to Heart, your source of options drip on a daily basis. On this channel, we talk about some of the most exciting setups based on options flow, technical analysis, pattern analysis, current macroeconomic events, and geopolitical events as well. And keep in mind that I'm not a financial advisor, so anything I share here is my opinion. You're responsible for managing your risk and taking profits at the right time. I may or may not be in these securities which I cover today, but my goal is for you guys to understand the thought process behind my trades and also to understand that trading is a long-term game. We are talking about generation of wealth. It's not going to happen in one day, so stop dreaming about becoming a millionaire in a day. And with that said, let's focus on what's ahead this week. So couple things first. Economic events. We have Biden talking to the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. So let's see what happens. It may be political reasons, nothing related to fiscal or monetary policy, but we still have to keep in mind what's going on there. Now let's look at the SPY chart here. So looking at the SPY here, we have seen that SPY reverse strong after on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We had three strong days on SPY, pretty much straight rip, right? And this is how bear market is. The bullish rallies are insane. We saw this right here. We saw this one. I mean, a lot of people say that this was actually part of bear market. I don't really believe it, but anyway, we saw this pullback and market ripped. And we saw this one, which was a clear pullback, market ripped. And this is a clear sell-off, right? Not even a pullback. It was extreme sell-off. Market ripped, came back down. So now I think what's going on is right now we have the PPC data coming out and consumers are spending money. And we have, even the other economic data, especially the GDP data, shows that, the GDP is slowing. So what that means is that Federal Reserve might not increase the, a lot of investors might think that, Federal Reserve might not increase the interest rate furthermore because they think that GDP is automatically slowing down. So they don't need to worry about the unemployment. They don't need to worry about increasing the fund rates. But that's another topic to discuss. I don't want to go in depth, but let's focus on the technical analysis here. First of all, notice the volume here on this rally. Could be a Memorial Day rally itself. Market tends to perform well during that time, but the volume is much lower than these distribution days, right? So with that said, some of the levels I'm watching is that if we can break above this 470 to 420 area on SPY, I think we open up room for 425 to 430. And then if it can break above even that, its room opens to 440 to 445. Now this area, whenever SPY came last three times, third touch could happen here during mid-June to mid-July. We could see market kind of consolidate and move next leg up and then down from here, right? That's a possibility. Or it comes straight, flushes down from here, maybe retest this level and then dumps. Until the market can come above this 460 area, we cannot really claim that we are back to the bullish mode. We are still in bearish territory here. Looking at the weekly chart, we are basically below the weekly 21 EMA, and we might retest that EMA. We might retest that EMA right around 423 level. It's possible, right? And price pinch between the EMA and this COVID low anchored VWAP and then dumps. Looking at the monthly perspective, we were able to close above the monthly 21 EMA. Tomorrow we'll know for sure, but if SPY is able to close above the monthly 21 EMA, that means at least bulls tried their best. Look at this monthly wick on SPY. The range on this one is insane. We are talking about 11%, right? So down and then up. So yeah, a lot of volatility in the market. So we want to keep an eye on wicks as well. So let's look at VIX. Now VIX, my bad. Yeah. So VIX looks like it's about to plummet, right? So this gives us hint towards, well, it's rounding top pattern here, triple touch. There's a squeeze forming to the downside. So it's high chance that VIX might come back below 21 level. And right now VIX is 25. So what that means is that we might see continuation on SPY for a couple more days. And that's mad. I mean, like, I would like to see it pull back a bit, consolidate at least a couple more days before making next move up. But let's talk about some of the stocks I'm watching. So first one is Amazon. Now Amazon split is coming on 6th of June. So what that means is that the stock price would literally be split. This is 1 to 20 split. So what that means is that the stock price is gonna, let me confirm actually, Google is 1 to 20 split, right? Well, whatever the split is, if it's 20 to 1 split, just divide it by 20. So that means in this case, 2300 divided by 20. So what that means is that I think a lot of people will start buying shares at this point of time because the split is coming, and they'll try to sell covered calls against it. Because it's easy to own 100 shares now, because now you only need to, buy like 5 shares, for example, 1,010, put like 5 in 2300, which is roughly around, 11,500. So with 11,500, you get 100 shares of Amazon, if it's 20 to 1 split, right? And with those, you can sell covered call against it. And you can keep doing that and keep reducing your cost basis. So a lot of people are trying to do that, in my opinion. And looking at this, like it's almost at the double, this double top area. So if it breaks above this 2315 area, we're talking about 2500 is a possible, much likely outcome here. We could even test 2600 on Amazon. Let's check the flow for Amazon real quick. So Amazon has a lot of bullish activity. And this was also on Friday, so you got to discount that part. But looking at this 2300 was the strike these guys are targeting. And this is like, if you include the sold calls as well, right? Including the sold. And what now you can see the premium is kind of 50-50. So I don't know. I think from Amazon, not with respect to flow, but just looking at the split news, we might see it continue a couple more days, in my opinion. So I think any dip which Amazon gets might be eaten up because of the split news. So first one I'm watching is Amazon, and anything above 23 to 25, I'm looking at potentially 2500 as the target. Keep in mind it's a short week. Don't buy weeklies and expect things to move. It could be a choppy week ahead because it's only 4 days week. So, and also month end rebalancing. So it's very possible, very likely that we might have a couple choppy days. And just be careful with trading weeklies. If you cannot afford it, don't trade it. Amazon, just buy the shares instead. Okay, so that's the first one. Next one I'm watching is PDD. Now PDD has a couple things going on. First, the earnings were good. They broke out on the earnings, 15% up, and on top of that, Chinese government is planning on supporting these names, especially the KWeb names. And KWeb looks like it's about to break out as well. And this is like China Internet ETF. China is supporting the internet companies. They came out and said that they're going to create programs to artificially, basically like what Federal Reserve did before, will do again for the Chinese companies now. The Chinese government will do that. And I cover this in my podcast, so you can go listen that. But yeah, so looking at this, I think KWeb and other names in KWeb are like Baidu, Baba, and all these names I think are primed to rip. Baba looks actually really good. Inside day after the earnings breakout, so can go. PDD looks much stronger in my opinion. Looking at the PDD chart, it already broke out of this wedge, and it has attempted to do that last couple times but was always rejected. So we have to be careful, but notice how it always the next day it's a down day whenever it happened. So I think if it can break above $50, we are most probably going towards 60, retesting 60 level. So I'm gonna be patient with this, see what it does around $50 mark. If it sells off, we can play puts. But I personally think, given all these things I talked about, I think it's ready to move up, and it's a longer term swing play. So just be patient with it. It moves a lot in a day. So wait for pullback on this one. Anything, if it pulls back to around 45 to 45.5, decent entry in my opinion. But it can go, Chinese names, they can rip pre-market 10-15%, doesn't care. That's how they are. So this one is on watch list, but you can watch PD, Baba, Baidu, KWeb. You can play the index, which is much less volatile. So next one I want to talk about is MP Materials. So another material name here, non-energy minerals, have been consolidating here for a while after the earnings. We have support confluence here, this basically trend line support. We have inverse head and shoulder going on, couple days of consolidation, broke above that consolidation, and now we have basically a doji here. So anything above $50, anything above $41 on this one, to be more safe, yeah, $41, right? This is prime for a breakout, right? Just looking at, I forgot the PDD flow as well. So yeah, looking at the 2-hour chart here, you can see clearly we have a head and shoulder going on, right? Clearly we have inverse head and shoulder on this one. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that this did sell off aggressively. All the commodities did, because dollar was rising. But now, since dollar is cooling off, we are seeing these commodities starting to kind of show some signs of life. For example, Alcoa looks similar, very similar, inverted head and shoulder. Alcoa moves much faster, much stronger than MP. So MP is a slower swing. And looking at the flow for first, let's watch the PDD flow real quick, because I want to show that one. Yeah, so PDD flow is also super bullish. Look at this, around 55% bullish, right? And I think these calls which were sold were in the money calls, and they rolled up these contracts. So if you look now from that perspective, this is like 4 days, right? Most of these are like 4 days expiration. So this is a short-term play, these guys. I mean, this is a 100K order, right? Placed around 223. The stock price was 46.19. right around 2 o'clock, and when you look here, it was 48 before the close. So yeah, this guy already made profit, but nonetheless PDD looks solid. Let's monitor it, let's look at the flow, and let's talk about MP. So MP Materials, again, look at this, 55 call expiring on 17th of June, 18 days to expiration. I mean, it's a joke, right? Like $44,000 on that. But I guess this guy is buying shares and just want to buy out money calls. And then we have 45 call for 17th of June. So I got in this call a couple days back, but yeah, I got it at basically the consolidation zone, right around this area when it broke above this 38.5. Got it, but doesn't matter. But yeah, look at this chart, looks amazing. Inverse head and shoulder, just like what SPY was a couple days back. We had very similar inverse head and shoulder on SPY here, left shoulder, right shoulder, and bottom. So could see continuation on MP Materials. So next one I want to talk about is KSS. Now KSS is a super manipulated stock. A lot of news around this one, especially with the buyout rumors. And if you look at the news here, it's like, first, the earnings were not really great on this one, right? And look at this news. Activist investor may have said that the board may have withheld material information from shareholders, and the firm threatened legal action over what is alleged was a breach of fiduciary duty. So bad news all around. And the buyers, so there's a news that someone wanted to acquire this company, right? There were offers, and bidders are actually bidding down, which is always a bad news, right, for a stock when they're bidding down. And it pumped on that news and then quickly sold off. So what I'm watching is a break of $40. And even on the, I mean, looking at the chart also, we had this kind of long consolidation zone and it's retesting it now. So, and dividend date is also coming. So I think a lot of investors are kind of cautious on this one, and we might see a sell-off if the market is weak particularly. So everything depends on the market as usual, but look at this flow for KSS. We have $40 $40 put being loaded, and this was a spread, but the remaining ones are single legged order. So yeah, this one, look at this, 40.5 $40 put, and this was sold already, which expired. But yeah, 38 put. So a lot of put activity going on here. I don't blame investors here. So anything below $40, I think 38 put can work. You can even buy long-term puts on this one, because I don't personally think that buyout will happen on this for the price which is being mentioned. So, but if it breaks above, for example, let's say $50, it's going to retest the 63, right? Because it enters back into this consolidation zone, which it's been into. So, yeah, ideal entry for short would be, rejection of 46 level. But to be safer, below 40 is a much better option. We have a confirmation that way. So that's KSS. We talked about PDD, we talked about MP, we talked about Amazon. And I think the one final one I want to talk about is one of my favorites, not because of the setup, but I love trading mRNA. So mRNA in a squeeze here on the daily, be in a while on mRNA. 4-hour chart, I mean, breaking out of this kind of like falling wedge. You could even call this triple bottom right here, right? We have found kind of double bottom, triple bottom, and the volume is not that much, but looking at the historical volume on this one, it's not significant, but yeah, the chart looks solid, right? For I mean, we had this similar falling wedge here, right here, right? So very similar pattern here, and it went on for days, actually, couple days. So if market rips here, I mean, this was how many percent on mRNA? We are talking about, since the breakout went all the way 30% up. So counting 30% up from here is roughly around this resistance area right here, like the top, which is 180. So that's a pretty solid swing if it works. So I'm watching the level 150. Above 150, 155 call seems like a decent option. On the 4-hour chart, things are much more clearer, and you can see that the price found a higher low here, and now it's a matter of finding a higher high. So anything around 142 to 144, if it dips, that's the area I'm looking to buy the dip. Anything below 136, it's probably going to sell off. So this huge candle on the 4-hour chart, right, pretty much covered the price 8% in 4 hours on Friday. So let's see if it can break above 150 is the level I'm watching. And let's look at the flow for mRNA real quick. And I mean, it could be because of COVID as well, since things are coming back, but it seems like a short squeeze play to me and technical trade. And looking at this, we have a lot of bullish activity here. 85% bullish, 155 call being loaded, and 155 for 17th of June. Price being paid around $7 for per contract. So expensive, but could double, triple from here. So these are the setups I'm watching. I think my highest conviction one is PDD, then mRNA. If market is strong, then if market is weak, KSS, and then Amazon is more on, from a perspective of a split, and MP material is a longer term swing play for me. I'm not looking at a day perspective, so looking something like maybe a month or 2 months out, but the June expiration can work as well. So these are the stocks to watch. Be careful. Do not get weekly options unless you know what you're doing. Get in and out. Don't hold them for too long. I think I'm expecting chop this weekend, just because option sellers are gonna collect the money. We have monthly indexing as well, so careful. All right, have a good rest of your night, folks. Catch up tomorrow.